My name's Miles. I played in the Paris Olympics for beach volleyball. I also went through the junior club pipeline and played D1 indoor volleyball at UCLA. This is Brent Porcio. He has built the top velocity pitching school of sorts. We're in this big facility. There's a bunch of athletes training here right now that we're looking at. We're gonna go over right now. We went over a ton of all the mechanics, a little bit of the why of the energy flow, how volleyball transfers to baseball and vice versa. Now we're gonna go over a lot of Brent's how-to, what he looks like, what he looks at when he measures people, a lot of the what of things. We went over the why, now the what. He has all these exercises here. These are for juniors, more little leaguers, level 1, 2, and 3. He's got miles an hour. He's measuring all of those with radar guns. He's got body weight, that means lifting, and those are all measured as well. He's got angular degrees of joint range of motions. Those are with a goniometer or just the eyeball test. He's also got a bunch of stuff for pros and college players here, beginner level 1, 2, 3, and pro. 24 exercises, all these metrics he wants his athletes to hit. He programs specifically for them to hit those. And this is the gold standard. These are all the mobility components of what he wants. It's a lot, guys. This is a lot of rotation. Hip internal, external rotation, probably way more than I currently have. All of this is probably way more than I currently have because baseball people are off the charts with mobility and strength and timing. These are their performance goals. 225 plus pounds body weight. I'm 190. I'm not even close to that. Vertical jump, I'm not there. Broad jump, I'm definitely not there. I mean, there's a lot of things. I'm not at the gold standard. These are some of the biomechanics goals, some more advanced metrics. I am showing you all this to say that the volleyball world could have all of this. There's honestly probably more going on in volleyball because we're jumping and airborne. And I just wanted to give Brent a little bit of time to explain how he measures all this stuff, how he programs for his athletes, and this is something I would hope to do and that maybe he could help me do in the future.
Yeah, so the way we look at it is like, what's your why? Is your why, for example, at your level to be as good as Miles, or is your why like Miles is just to be Miles and be healthy and or continue to slowly build from where he already is? So if your why is to be Miles one day, we first need to know what is separating you from him. As much as he's telling you he doesn't have the gold standard, but I guarantee he's a lot close. Yeah, he's a lot closer than you are to the gold standard. And it's the gold standard because it's almost unattainable. That's why it's the gold standard, right? But where are you in the spectrum here if we measure you out? So this first thing we're gonna do, we gotta measure out joint mobility, your jumps, your sprints, even the biomechanical stuff, your strength. And then once we have that, we can see where you match up. And then we can see where, say, Miles is, which he's probably on the other end like all our pros are. And then now you know the distance and what's separating you. And now we can work one step at a time. We don't have to make the huge jump to the gold standard. We go one step at a time and reevaluating and progressing. So each block that we're going up, obviously we're reevaluating. And in that time in between, that's our training time. And of course, we're training this. We're training mobility. We're training the speeds, the athleticism, the power, the strength. We're training the sequencing, the timing, the biomechanics in the drill work. So every benchmark we go through a training level to get us to the next ranking level, and then we keep progressing as high as we possibly can go.
And how do you typically measure these things? Brent showed me his AI platform, guys. It's truly amazing. There's 3D modeling just based on normal iPhone camera film. There's joint angle measuring. There's also just a ton of programming and exercise videos he has ready to go. How do you typically take an athlete, take them from a mediocre pitcher to maybe a great one?
Well, commitment level is the number one thing. Like, for example, the reason Miles here and you're learning from him and you're watching him play at high levels is because his commitment level is very, very high. Now, you might not have Miles's commitment level. That might get better over time as you start to realize you possibly could be as good as him. But if you don't at least have the commitment level to get to the next level or to be the best in your town or to be the best in your college or whatever, you're probably not gonna wanna do the work. So the commitment level is the number one because it takes time, guys. It takes work, and we have to constantly apply the process or we're not gonna see the results because it's not always gonna be positive. You're gonna drop and you're gonna have to climb back up again. So once we get the commitment level, and now we gotta onboard you into this. We gotta teach you how this works. We gotta educate you. And then as we go through the educational process, we're gonna also be applying some of the work. You're gonna be doing the mobility training. You're gonna be doing the lifting. You're gonna be doing the drill work. But as you're learning the process, because at the end of the day, the guys that can do it like Miles, not only are they very skilled, but they've spent the time to understand what they do well and what they don't do well, and they have an education to how this works, at least enough. Like I could still help Miles could still help me. We're always learning, but at the end of the day, if you're not trying to learn, it is hard to climb as you do all the work.
And what's a typical frequency? We were talking about stretching in season, maybe an MLB pitcher stretching cumulatively throughout the entire day, 2 hours. Maybe lifting, let's say off season, are you lifting 3-4 times a week, stretching 6 days a week for maybe a cumulative total of an hour per day? And then you're doing drill work. You're mentioning a template of a day where you start with mobility, you move to drill work, rest, and then lift. How many times a week is that happening? How long are each of those sessions?
Yeah, so all that's in the programming that you can get access to, just like with Miles. And it's just gonna tell you what your scheduling is like for the day. You're typically everyday mobility. You're 3 to 4 days a week of lifting, in season a little bit less.
Like an hour lifts?
Yeah, hour or more, depending on if it's a hard week. So typically we periodize. So you have periods of training where this period is going to be harder than the next period. So and you undulate. So you typically go up and down. So you'll have like a base lifting period, which is base level volume, base level weight. And then you're going to go to a loaded level, a performance level, a volume level. And either the volume of the rep work or the weight goes up. So those weeks will probably be a longer lifting day than the easier weeks.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, it sounds like maybe 4 to 7 times a week of mobility. They're doing 3 times a week of lifting, and then drill work maybe 4 to 5 times a week. And that's a similar volume I'm hoping to get to training as a professional beach volleyball player. And it's just super helpful that I can text Brent and ask him for all these questions. And maybe just at the end, just give us a little taste. So or I'll give them a little taste of what I saw. So you'll send Brent a picture of you pitching, a video of it from your iPhone from the side. His AI will analyze it. It'll 3D model the whole thing. You can literally move it around and see it from every angle. It'll also show all the joint angles. It'll measure the timing of everything and distance, which you can then get a speed from for meters per second. So there's a ton of measuring going on. I'm hoping to get to that level where I can see someone's volleyball approach and spike from different angles, left side, right side, different sets going left to right to left, high set, quick set, different approach tempos, and be able to have benchmarks where I can then score where you are and give you the kind of feedback that he's been doing for years with baseball. So I'm hoping to get there. He's helping me, and stay tuned. All right, that's good.